Welcome to episode 2 of Provocative Parlay. I am Zab and this is my friend Zip. And today we're going to start with the topic feminism. Fire, fire topic, honestly. Any thoughts, Zip? Feminism?
Well, dude, I don't even know how to define feminism. To be very honest with you, I have no idea what feminism is supposed to be. Because initially they started off with the narrative that feminism was all about equality. But I have no freaking idea what feminism is supposed to be now. Because as per
Yeah,
the
actually, I also wanted to know what it is about.
as per the constitution, women as of now have three rights more than a normal woman has 3 to 4 rights more than a normal male. And I get that
What?
they do. No cap, I'm not
It's
lying.
true.
Yeah, that's true, man. What are you talking about? Just look up the constitution. And I kind of get why they have those rights. I'm like, it's about keeping them safe. So yeah, it's understandable. But what's the entire point of feminism? Like, what does feminism really stand for? That's the question. That's $1 million question. That is a question that's been going through my mind for way too long now.
What do you think about feminism all the day?
I mean, not exactly. I don't think about feminism all the day, but feminism is something that you have to think about. Like, I mean, what is feminism? I've raised this question before, I've raised it again.
Okay, so it's like a prevalent topic in the modern day, and we just want to be educated in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
We just want to be educated, and as we talked about in the last video, the only way to get yourself educated is by having a conversation with your peers. So I think I'll have to have this conversation with you.
Seeking knowledge is a-okay by me.
Oh yeah.
So, let's,
Okay, so bro, according to Google, feminism means the belief that women should have the same rights and opportunities as men. And that is something that I can stand by, that is something that I believe. They should. Alright, they
sure,
should.
why not? Why wouldn't you believe in something like that?
All genders having equal rights and opportunities. But now the question is, are all genders equal? Are all genders equal?
No, not at all.
What do you mean by that? Bro?
I really think that on surface area and literally if you dive deep inside, I don't think so every gender is equal. At least in the way of perspective, in like when we take perspective into terms and when we take all the complexity and the how complicated basically it is. You see now, whatever I initially, like, this is what happened. Many years ago, I wasn't even aware of the fact that people of different genders other than male and female actually.
Yeah, exactly. I had to say, I face the same problem, man, and it is all
Now
new to me.
everything coming up and everything is now coming up, and initially it was thought so. Initially it was thought so as a joke. Like, it was a joke. It was a running joke that people of homosexual nature were coming up, and it was initially thought of as something not real, unreal, very
Yeah, bro, I still remember
Right.
we used to fucking call people gay as an insult. Gay wasn't something that was supposed to be celebrated back in our school days, right? We used to use the word gay as an insult. It used to be like, bro, to gay hai kya, bro, to gay hai. We used to fucking call people gay to insult them, to hurt their ego. And now being gay is being celebrated. And it's not like I have a problem with that.
has
It's that it
become an
makes you
identity
wonder
now.
what happened, like what changed. Like, what is the change that we had to go through to, start celebrating something that we used to frown upon.
See, I mean, obviously, if we look at it through another point of view, it has to do with biological and psychological factors, I think, in my opinion. When you feel, I think the way you discover your body, the way you feel, it has changed over the years, honestly. And there are, I think, in my opinion, there are many factors that come into that. Honestly, your upbringing, your view of the world,
We're
and
talking
honestly
about
how
upbringing. What sort of parent is going to ask their child, dude, are you a man or are you a woman? I'm like, I think
don't
that's
think-
already
it's not
been
that.
that's already been characterized by God, right? By God or by nature, whoever the creator is, right?
So what do you think? Like whoever created us, he just wanted to be simple that I am just picking a male and a female, and just
Well, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, I was just questioning you. You said it all comes down to upbringing. Like, did your father ever ask you, oh, do you want to be a girl or do you want to be a boy? He basically told you that you are a boy, right? He basically told you are a boy, right? Did he or did he not?
must have, yeah.
Exactly, he told you that
Yeah.
you are a boy, right? Even my father didn't give me an option. Oh, do you want to be a girl? Do you want to be a boy? And like, it's not fucking Monopoly cards going on around here, right? Yo, you want to be red? You want to be blue? You want to be green? You want to be yellow? It doesn't work like that. You're born with something. Your sex is the only thing that you're born with, right? And I'm not a huge fan of Jake Paul. I'll be very honest with you. I don't like the guy. But Jake Paul actually came out with a statement. Someone asked him, so Jake, how many genders do you believe there are? How many genders do you believe exist? And Jake Paul had a very straightforward answer. He said there are only 3 genders: male, female, and mentally ill. And no, I don't believe in that. Alright. No, bro. I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble if I say I agree with it, so I don't agree with that. But I think I have the right to question these things, right? And that's the only thing that I can do. I can question them.
See, what I've got on Google is that basically homosexuality has been documented in Western society as far back as the ancient Greeks.
What?
And what? Sorry?
Really?
Yeah, really. As far back as the ancient Greeks, it's written that virtually every civilization since has had some record of the presence of homosexuality, from like ancient Greece to Rome to Victorian England, right
And
up to
were
the
those
present
people
day.
accepted in the society? Like, did the society accept those people?
Definitely. Definitely. I think people in ancient Greece, many people were also considered historical figures in those times were gay or homosexual in nature. Like, for example, there was a famous Greek figure. Greek figure called Achilles. Do you know Achilles?
Oh my god. Dude, Mike Tyson's gonna get a heart attack after this. He gets to know
I don't know why it's written that Achilles was apparently in a relationship with another man called Patroclus. I mean, it wasn't depicted as sexual, but it was depicted as a way of feeling towards one another.
Basically, those two were
So
friends, right? Those two were friends who used to confide in each other, who used to have proper basic conversations, right?
Their emotional bond was like so deep that they were considered as that. And basically, where is this documented? This was documented apparently in a famous piece of literature called Iliad, which was written by the famous guy called Homer, who wrote the Odyssey ship. You know Homer? He's a very famous.
That's come as a shock to me. It's quite unbelievable. Probably the greatest model in the history of mankind was homosexual.
I mean, I don't know. It's an accusation, I think. Must be.
But it's got to be an accusation. You can't just go around calling the greatest fighter in the history of mankind gay.
But apparently in the militaries of ancient Greece, there was a presence of homosexuality. It was like what's written here is in the net is that homosexuality in the militaries of ancient Greece was a significant aspect across the ancient Greek city-states, ranging from being a core part of military life to being an accepted practice of some individual soldiers. It was regarded as contributing to morale, apparently.
In what sense, bro? Like,
And
in what capacity? What are you talking about?
So basically, I think what it means to say is that if soldiers had homosexual feelings towards one another, then it resulted in stronger bonds between them, stronger emotional bonds, and from that, that will increase the sort of teamwork and courage which soldiers used to show in battles.
And I kind of
They will
get where
trust
they're
more.
coming from, but I'm pretty sure they took a very wrong route over there. Like, it's not acceptable. And like, are you trying to say that they were forcing soldiers into having sexual relations with the same gender? Were they forcing them, or was it something that was acceptable?
Who knows if it was even true? I mean, there are certain documents which might point out through the way that people there were. I mean, I think one thing is universally true across, I think, every site is there was some presence of homosexuality in ancient Greece. So what I think we're trying to say is that throughout history, this has been present. It just brought up to the surface more right now in the modern day as it had in the historical times. So now that we know for a fact,
I wouldn't lie.
I mean, we didn't know this. It's honestly quite for both of us. So now that you say that
Greek figures like Achilles and Hercules and stuff, and now I get to know here.
we don't know it's true. We don't know it's true that Achilles was homosexual or he felt something for
Well,
a man.
apparently someone has come to a conjecture, right? Someone out there has come to a conjecture that Achilles was gay. Now, be it a conjecture, be it a conclusion. And if it's, I hope it's a conjecture. I hope it's a conjecture.
Now it's the $1 million question is, was it wrong for Achilles to be gay?
I'll be very honest with you. And actually, I might get a lot of hate for it, but I mean, I kind of agree with Jake Paul to a certain extent. Like, I don't think humans were programmed to have feelings towards people of the same gender. Alright, but now the thing is, there's a lot of biology involved, right? And like sometimes we tend to get certain hormones or certain chromosomes in excess, if I may say the least. To say the least, I'm like, you tend to get certain hormones that you're not supposed to get. And that is probably kind of a fault in our DNA, right? Like aging. I mean, we know that we are not supposed to age. Aging is a fault in our DNA.
Okay.
We are supposed to be like, we were supposed to be immortals, but there was some fucking fault in our DNA, and now we're not. We tend to age, we tend to grow old, and we tend to die. Humans were never supposed to die, but well, that's how I always say humans are what gods are what humans are meant to be. But that's a conversation for another day. I won't get into that. Yeah, coming to the biological part, I think it's not wrong for Achilles to be gay or for any human being to have feelings towards another person of the same gender. It's not wrong, alright? If it's biological, then it's not wrong. But then I want another question. I'm like, when you talk about pedophiles, is that biological, or is that something that stems from their upbringing? Are those people just victims of the nature, of the creator, or are those people actually just fucked in the head and they are under the impression that they are supposed to be attracted to people who are younger than them? If that's something that you can fuck with, I don't think I can stand by pedophilia. I'll be very honest with you. I can't stand next to a person who's attracted to young children and who tends to assault them. That is something that's not acceptable for me. And I'm like, if that is not acceptable, then why the fuck do people accept the fact that people can get attracted to people of the same gender? I mean, if you open that window of getting attracted to anyone you want to be attracted to, then pedophilia should be something that should be accepted in society, right?
there's a certain gray area attached to this statement. Certain gray area. I mean, obviously, people draw lines also.
I mean,
Like,
you can either be objective or you can be subjective. But as history has taught us, being objective is something that has led to good things happen, right? So I think we got to be objective
Like,
with this. If we're not allowing a pedophile to walk out in open air, then I don't think gay people should be allowed as well. I mean, that's what Piers Morgan
I
also
think,
said.
I think this pedophile question should be answered with the fact that today we have also set some kind of limitation, some kind of line to it, on these acts. In some cases, premarital sex is considered to be a sin, right? There are places in the world where premarital sex is considered to be a sin, and there is a system where there's also like a social stigma that unless you've come of age, having sex is a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
And also, I think it's also a biological factor that the body develops itself up to a certain age. That's when it's safe to have sex, right?
Yeah.
Now, pedophilia just abolishes that fact.
Exactly.
Then that is going against the very biological
nature of the human body.
Yeah, exactly. So as far as pedophilia is concerned, you've got to be deranged and a psychopath basically in order to indulge in that kind of activity.
But then men aren't supposed to have sex with other men as well, right? Men aren't supposed to have sexual feelings towards other men as well, right? So like you gotta roll with that as well, right? And if pedophilia is something that's not acceptable, if pedophilia is something that makes you look deranged to a society, in front of the entire society, then even homosexuality should be something that should be looked at the same way. You can't just go around telling people okay, pedophilia is something that is not acceptable, but yeah, I can fuck with homosexuality. That is something that doesn't make logical sense, right? It's something that doesn't make sense at all, or any particular level, be it logical or be it your emotional sense or be it anything. It doesn't make sense. You gotta draw a line, and you gotta be like, okay, you cross this line, you're gonna be punished. If you cross this line, you're gonna be you're gonna be probably told to back in the day you used to be like you were banished or you were told to leave the kingdom or something like that. I don't know what the punishment is gonna be now, and it can't be death because I mean technically we are being like okay, it's not their fault, it's biological. But yeah, what do you think about it?
I think these are two very different things in my opinion, pedophilia and homosexuality. I mean, pedophilia has much rather got to do with, crossing that boundary, which I was talking about earlier.
How are they different, bro? How the fuck are they different? Are they really
because in homosexuality is just a feeling. You can't do anything anymore with that feeling, right? It's more about emotions rather than actual biological
You're
features,
talking about consent.
right?
You're talking about consent.
Maybe, yeah. I think I am. I mean, yeah, sure, maybe. But also because of the fact that I talked about earlier that, the body develops itself over time. And then only it's safe to indulge in sexual activities. When you don't adhere to that law, that fact, then that's just crossing the limit. That's just deranged. But in homosexuality's case, it's an anomaly. It's an anomaly, not a crime. An anomaly is very different than a crime, right?
Okay.
In homosexuality's case, it's just different. It's just something new. You were right. Maybe when we were initially there, created as humans, maybe we weren't supposed to feel that way. But over time, as who even thought that we'll even reach the place where we are today, right? change is prevalent in today's world. Change is happening.
Change
And
is probably
honestly,
the only
this should.
constant. Change is probably the only constant. It is the only constant.
Yeah.
That is the only thing
constant life.
that's gonna be
So
there
this is
after we've left the planet.
this is something that we should have seen coming from way before, right? This is honestly a surprise to some, but not that much of a surprise to some as well, right? Some people did predict that this will show up and surface up in the world, eventually become a trending topic where people will talk about it and eventually become acceptable as well.
But is it acceptable? Like even in today's society, people who are homosexual are looked at in a very different manner, right? Like they're looked at with the same eye that black people used to be looked at in the 1800s or the 1700s. Like people still do not talk to them. Like I'll be very honest with you, I know a lot of people who won't go up to a gay man or a lesbian woman and have a meaningful conversation with them. I'll actually have a conversation with them in any capacity. They basically can't to be, I'm like, I'm gonna be blunt over here. They basically can't even stand those people. They can't even stand next to them, let alone look them in the face and have a conversation.
But there are some people who do.
Yeah, there are some people who do, but that used to be the case in the 1800s as well, right? There were some white people who used to look at black people with some sympathy, but they used to consider them humans, right?
But back then the difference wasn't official that black people could roam freely, right? But now it's official that homosexuals can even marry. Homosexuals can even adopt children. It's a law. It's official.
And
right?
Homosexuals can't get married, dude. I don't think that's allowed in India at least. Homosexuals can't get married in India.
But in some part, even if it might not be true in India, then in the rest of the world,
that can happen in the United States of America, but that's not true in India. As far as I know, it's not true in India.
Sure?
Yeah, the Supreme Court just came out with the verdict. Gay people cannot get married. I think that just happened. That happened like 2 weeks ago, bro. It's definitely 2 to 3 weeks since that verdict came out.
Sure, but they can have a live-in relationship now.
Yeah, they can have a live-in relationship.
At all. Sure, then if they're fine with that, then okay. I mean, then that means that just means if in some parts of the world it's official that same-sex marriages can take place, then I mean it has become a sort of societal norm, no? You have to adjust to that. You have to see it as part of the newer era, right? Now it's there. You can't help it. You can't do anything about it. So the main question is, now that it has actually come as recognizable and acceptable, will you eventually have to go along with it, or will you continue to resist?
And I don't see any point in resisting against it, bro. Like, I don't see any point in showing any sort of resistance, because I'm someone who's very open to this sort of this, alright? I don't mind having a conversation with a gay person. I don't mind having a conversation with anyone, as long as the person is nice to me, alright? So, for me, the only way I'm gonna judge a person is through his morals. I'm not gonna judge a person based on their race, color, or whatever, X, Y, Z, or even their gender. Yeah, there have been certain situations in which I've been uncomfortable being around people. I mean, like, typically those people are called hijras, and I've had a bad experience or two, but I'm not gonna oppose them, because even they are humans. They've got the same rights. And those are the people, my mom basically says that we gotta worship them and stuff like that. We have to worship them because hijras have been very powerful in Hindu mythology or something like that. I don't know why they worship, but they do. I don't know. I'm not saying, but I don't have complete knowledge on this topic, so whatever that's come out of my mouth, it's just my opinion, guys. It's not a fact. Don't go fucking killing me in the comment section. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about it. What? Sorry.
Yeah. If you do kill it in the comment section, please don't forget to leave a like. Simple. Yeah. But it's a why is it so controversial? I mean, yeah, people have got very different views towards it. But now that it's become so acceptable and it's become so normal, I don't know why it's still considered to be a very controversial topic these days. Feminism, homosexuality, all these in general. These are very controversial, these are very spicy topics.
And like people were okay with it till 2020, but after the COVID thing happened, a lot of people got the time to stay back home and actually give it a thought or two. They actually had time to think about it, alright? So I think they spent some time reflecting on their decision, and then a lot of those people start regretting the fact that these people now have certain rights. Also, I'm like, to what extent are you gonna be okay with this? I'm like, okay, I get a man can identify as a gay person, alright? A man can be like, okay, I tend to have sexual feelings towards other men. But then there are certain people out there who go like, I identify as a dog, I identify as a pencil. I'm like, dude, I don't even identify as anything you want to identify as, alright? I'm like, even I can go around telling people that I'm a black lesbian, I identify as a black lesbian, and just, walk into a women's toilet and shit, but I can't do that, right? I don't do that. And I probably can, but I don't do that. Like, people are actually gonna frown at me. People are actually gonna do more than frown. They're gonna beat the crap out of me. So, the question is, to what extent can you be okay with this behavior?
Yeah, true. I mean, I have seen so many instances with the fact that some people can't tolerate this type of behavior. Some people can. Some people are fine with having, homosexual people their friend circle. Some people are not.
Bro, I was just going through my Insta today, and I came upon this video in which a man basically was in a class, and he started talking to the professor, dude, I can't sit over here, I'm gonna walk out now because I got a lesbian sitting next to me. He was that uncomfortable being in that situation. He basically didn't even want to look the girl in the eye. So I'm like, can you fuck with something like that? Can you actually be like, okay, I'm open to accepting that sort of behavior as well? I don't think you can be, because I'm like, you basically just degraded another human being in front of the entire class, and now that person has to deal with a lot of trauma. So I think straight people who act like that, they have to be held accountable. They need to be held accountable.
I think that's just a matter of basic respect that you give to anybody.
Exactly. It's just basic courtesy.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what basic ethics and morality a person has to uphold to.
Right? And that man cannot be celebrated as an alpha or as a Chad, right? Like, people can't go around calling that man a Chad or that man an alpha. And I just went to the comment section. That is something that was happening. That is exactly what was happening. That was something that I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. It kind of brought a smile to my face as well. But it kind of hurt me. I'm like, in retrospect, it kind of did hurt, because I was like, okay, what would have happened had I been in the same situation? Like, had I been in that girl's place, what would I have gone? Like, what would I have felt? I definitely would have been hurt, right? I definitely would have been hurt. And then you have to be empathetic in these situations, dude. You have to imagine what it feels like to be in the other person's shoes.
Definitely. I think that's 100% true. But one thing also bugs me is, today feminism, do people as a whole, especially our generation, know what feminism actually stood for? Like, I see so many reels, trust me, reels are not that great a source of information.
They're not the most reliable source of information. They're not the most reliable source of information.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, I think a certain degree, there's a certain degree of truth to this, that people don't know what feminism actually stands for today. People don't realize what it stood for in the past. We certainly didn't. We want to know about it, but we don't. Right?
Well, in the past,
we don't know.
During the Rigveda era, women used to have important positions in society. They used to have political positions in society. And then after a
Feminism is
certain
not
point,
only about women, right?
women just asked to stay back in the house. Alright, women were basically just asked to stay back in the house in the kitchen, and that is something that has changed, and I'm happy that has changed. Alright, I'm proud of the way the society is acting nowadays towards women. But then, what do you think about this new way that any woman can accuse you of anything, and the police is gonna arrest you like straight up? They're basically gonna arrest you just on the basis of that accusation.
Yeah, I mean it certainly has a very gray area attached to it,
It
right?
is a hazard to a man's life, right? It is a hazard to a man's life. Like once you get your name in the police records or something like that, your entire life is basically, it's gonna be in shambles, dude. It's gonna be like,
I agree. It's a way of exploiting anyone. That's true. Women can do that.
I know a guy, I have a friend who nearly got exploited in that manner. Alright, there was I won't give you an example because I know people are gonna figure out what happened. But something happened, and that girl basically had a history of doing something, or of doing stuff like that. And that guy was nearly in tears at that point. He was in front of me, I saw his fucking face. He was in tears at that point. And like he got saved, that was a very close save, alright? That was a very narrow miss. And I've known the guy for quite some time now, so I knew he didn't do anything like that. But that guy...
So what we're trying to discuss now is, what we're trying to see right now is that maybe feminism in the earlier times, as long as it progressed throughout past periods, was all about women empowerment, right?
Feminism wasn't about women empowerment. Feminism has always been about men and women having equal rights. Feminism is about women empowerment now. Like women empowerment is basically just a movement that's gonna lead to women having a lot of rights that they don't even need. They already have the right to accuse any man of any crime, and that man can be behind bars. That is something that's been happening in society right now.
So now that we see women in like high level places, politics, business, acting, you name it, there are very, very elite women in those professions, right?
Yeah.
Now that there is presence of women over there, why are we still going about women empowerment now? If there's already strong presence, has it really got to do with feminism that we are not giving them equal rights, or has it got to do with their capabilities?
I think I'll have to tell you something. I'm like, have you heard of the pay disparity? Like, women tend to make less money than men in almost every occupation on the planet, right? They tend to get less money for the same jobs. But then,
I think there's a very famous example of this. There's a very famous example. Before, like, give me a minute before you say something. Like, there's a very famous example and a very funny one indeed. If you might have come across it once in your life, or may have forgotten it. But Dave Chappelle, if you guys know who that is,
yeah.
Dave Chappelle was once doing a show, like he was doing stand-up, okay, and he said a very funny thing. He said, let's say LeBron James switched up his gender, identified as a woman. Now he competed in the women NBA, right? He would probably score 1,000 points a game, right? You can't call that unfair. Now he identifies as a woman. You can't say that.
I'm not only talking about sports, alright? I'm talking about jobs that require the same amount of effort from both men and women. I'm talking about jobs like being CEOs of a particular company, or being a senior developer in a particular company. I'm like, women tend to get paid less money for the same job. Now I get like, I'm sorry. See, you can also go around telling people, okay, women, and like during the FIFA Women's World Cup, women got paid out of a pool of $40 million.
That's exactly what I was getting to now. That's exactly what I was getting to. I was getting to that. So
but
basically, what he wanted to say,
out of a pool of $6 billion.
Yeah, exactly. What he basically wanted to say was that men's sports generate so much revenue, so many views than women's sports, then that disparity can't exactly be fulfilled, like it can't exactly be solved. Because there's a huge difference between how many people watch women's sports, how many people watch men's sports. I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched a single women's sports match. Okay, sports. Like I have watched a couple of UFC fights, but apart from that, nothing, nada. No, nothing.
Well, there
Not
was
even a single one.
champion
Not even a
called
single.
Ronda Rousey. There was a UFC champion. She was like the women's bantamweight champion, Ronda Rousey. She's one of the greatest of all time, alright. And Ronda Rousey actually came out and defended Dana White, who also went on record at a particular time. He used to be like, women are never going to fight in the UFC. But then he was the one who got women into the UFC, right? He was the one who fucking crowned Ronda Rousey as a women's bantamweight champion. Alright, Ronda Rousey went on record and she was like, you only get paid what you're worth. And at that point, she was like the highest paid athlete on the roster. She was getting paid more money than Brock Lesnar, George St. Pierre, and Anderson Silva. So she was like the highest paid athlete. I'm not talking about women's athlete. I'm talking about she was the highest paid athlete on the roster. There were men on the roster, there were women on the roster, and she was the one who was getting the most money. So I think you only get paid what you're worth, and that is a very good point. I'm like, Ronda Rousey, I'm like, come on, man. You have to fucking trust that girl, right? But she's retired now.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. You have to fuck with Ronda Rousey, man. Like, that's one person who's not gonna lie about the situation. And like, she had no incentive to lie about it.
Exactly. And now that also stems from the fact there are actually people there. The women are actually getting that platform in order to showcase themselves in the same fields as men. Where there are men, there are also women in that field. Right? Sports, entertainment, media, you name it. And there are also certain sectors of professions and jobs where women are more, there's a stronger women presence than men. Right?
Yeah.
Now that... Yeah, so now that it is actually there, then what are you exactly campaigning about now? Now what are your issues? Now that these things have actually happened, these changes have been implemented, what are the issues now? That is exactly what we have to answer.
Listen, you've got a great point, but I don't know, man. Like I'm like, I haven't been able to wrap my head around this for quite some time now, and I've thought about it like immensely. I've been pondering about this thing for the last 2 years, and I still haven't been able to wrap my head around it. So I have no idea.
Exactly, we don't know shit. We'd actually love to get educated in this some sort of thing, and actually someone let us know now what exactly and how do they feel about feminism and what is the relevance of it today.
I think we need to have a woman on the podcast, bro. I think
maybe we do, but
over the next few episodes, I think we need to get a girl or two, to explain the situation in a better manner.
Sure, we will. But this is something, why we are discussing this topic right now is, I'll tell you why. Because feminism is something, if you bring into a normal conversation, right, into a conversation, any conversation, if you bring feminism into that automatically changes the atmosphere altogether.
It kind of changes the way people perceive you, bro. It kind of changes the way people perceive you.
Exactly.
It changes people's perception of yours.
It's a very hot topic. It can damage your reputation. It can
uplift your. It definitely can uplift your reputation as well.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever you bring feminism into any conversation or any sort of media content into like a general story, like be it Instagram stories, Instagram reels, or news articles, if you bring feminism as a topic into any source of media or content, that automatically gives a certain oomph factor to it.
Exactly, right? It gives it the X factor.
Exactly, the X factor.
Bro, have you seen the sort of interaction any Instagram post on feminism gets? Like, they get millions of likes, bro. Like, they fucking get millions of likes. I mean, and usually at the end of, usually the guy who's operating the account from which that particular picture has been posted is a toxic guy who doesn't give two shits about feminism, but is only trying to make money out of it. So feminism is a way through which you can make money. You can make a lot of money out of feminism now. And I'm sorry to say this, but I think a lot of people fail to realize this. A lot of people fail to understand this, that feminism has turned into a way through which people can extort money, through which people can make money and also extort money. As I told you about the sexual offense wala example. Like women can actually extort money out of people. That is something that's not acceptable, dude. That's something that's something that's gotta change. It's gotta go away, man. Because who knows who's next, bro? It can be you, it can be me, it can be anybody, man. Like they can target anyone.
I'm going to go into a bit of prank mode, okay? I'm going to go into a bit of prank mode right now. We all love a good woman. Who doesn't? Okay?
Yeah.
We all want that perfect girl in our life. We want to marry that perfect girl, have a happy ending, have good kids, make a strong family, and see off into the sunset right together. Ha ha ha. We all want that perfect ending, right?
Yeah, everyone wants a happy ending, be it massages or be it in life.
Everybody wants to marry a beautiful girl, not by looks only, but by mannerisms also. Okay, you gel along with her, you connect with her.
Definitely.
Right? If we kind of like that, then we also like women in strong positions, women who are lawyers, women who are politicians, women who are hold places of power. Who won't like that now, especially? But if that is so, if we all are fine with it, then why do we still have this sort of controversial factor attached to the word feminism?
I mean, because I'll be very honest with you, and I'm gonna have a very masculine perspective on this. It's not me, but I was listening to this guy called Hamza Ahmed, and he's someone who's like a famous guy who talks about self-improvement and stuff. And he's like someone who's really intellectual. Like, I really like the guy. He actually made a statement that there was this one time he was dating this super good-looking girl, and he couldn't get attracted to her. He couldn't get his dick to get hard because that girl was someone who used to focus on her career instead of focusing on him. And I know this is gonna sound like toxic masculinity, and people are gonna be like, okay, what the fuck are these two boys talking about? But just hear me out. He used to be like, men are supposed to be providers and women are supposed to take care of people. Well, that's the way nature has programmed us, right? The creator has programmed us. And that's what people say, right? And to a certain extent, I kind of agree with him. Alright? And who doesn't want a girl to, just spend her time loving you and taking care of you? And I don't think any girl would have to work if a man's in a good position financially and emotionally as well, of course. Do you really think any girl's going to want to go to work, going to want to go to a dirty place and just do those jobs just for the fun of it? Like, do you really think any girl's gonna do a particular job, do a dirty job just for the kicks of it? If a man's actually making good money, people go and do jobs. People go and do jobs to get money, right? To get income. I'm pretty sure.
Sure, but
exactly.
No, I partially agree with you, but I also have to partially disagree with you. I think working women have a plethora of motives. Okay, rather than one simple one that we can say that going there and making money is the only thing. Okay, I think women also might have a motive as a point to prove that if they go to work, that if they hold a place of power, if they go to work.
But I don't think that woman would be like really feminine in nature, to be very honest with you. I don't think those women are like really feminine in nature.
Fine, that is great, honestly. If working women, if you have working women in society, that's good. If they're getting work done, if they're getting the work done, and if they're performing well in whichever field they are occupied in, that is great. Honestly, that works. And honestly,
it probably works for you, man. It probably works for you. It doesn't work for me. I would want to date a girl who takes care of me, who thinks about me, who loves me. And I'm I can go around telling people, "Yo, I want my woman to be in the kitchen and all." I don't want my woman to fucking work in the kitchen. I want her to live like a queen, right? And who doesn't want their family members to live like kings and queens? So I want to be the
Sure.
guy who's making all the money, who's working his ass off. And I just want my girl to have a good time, just chill out on the fucking beach or chill out on the balcony or whatever, on the terrace or whatever, on the whatever thing you have on, in the, chill out on the
No,
pool.
I see your point. I see your point. I'll see your point now.
And
Yeah,
do
we
you
all
really
want that.
think?
We
Okay,
all,
okay, my G, just hear me out. Let's just say that 10 years down the line, you've got a huge mansion. Do you really think your woman's actually gonna want to go to work or work under someone? Do you really think that's gonna happen? Do you really think your girl is gonna be like, okay, man, I wanna go and do this job. I wanna earn for my own self. Why the fuck would she wanna earn for herself, dude? Like, there's no fucking reason. Like, that's so fucking dumb.
I think in majority of cases, no. Definitely no.
Exactly.
It's a universally accepted thing that like retiring, that sort of retirement feeling that you get, yeah, that settlement feeling that you get is pursued by each and every one, be it man or woman. You all want to settle down somewhere nice and just don't work anymore.
My
You've
mom
given
doesn't
up the
work,
work,
dude.
you've
My
given
mom
up the
doesn't
time.
work. My mom doesn't wanna work. She has a good time staying home. She's someone who doesn't want to work. She's like, okay, she used to work back in the day, but now she doesn't. She just has a good time staying home. She created like
Yeah,
wonderful
that is
memories
fine.
with me
Fine.
when I was
That is exactly.
when I used to stay with my parents. I don't live with my parents anymore, but I've created some great memories with my mother because she used to stay home, and so I used to have great conversations, and I've had some great moments with my mom.
That's definitely fine. That's definitely fine. Working with, if you want to work, provide income to your family, that's okay. If you don't, if you want to relax
Okay,
at
RP.
home,
Okay,
let's
oi,
do that.
my G. Hear me out, alright. So let's just say that you're from a really poor family, alright? Your father doesn't earn that
Okay.
well. Alright, I'm giving an example of someone else, but I won't name him. So let's just say this person's father is a taxi driver. Alright. He's a taxi driver in the United Kingdom, and his mom has to do dirty jobs and stuff like that because they don't have enough income. That guy's father doesn't bring in enough income, and so his mom has to go out and do those dirty jobs just to make money. Now, you know what this guy's ultimate dream is? He wants to retire both his mom and dad. He doesn't want his mom to go to work. He doesn't want his mom to, be a part of that particular thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
his mom basically has a dream of opening up a bakery. Alright. His mom basically wants to open up a bakery, and she wants to be like, okay, I wanna be the owner of this bakery, I wanna be the chef, I wanna be the baker, and I wanna be whatever the fuck I want. So let's just say this guy works his ass off and he starts making $1 million a year. Now,
Yeah.
do you really think his mom is actually gonna be like, okay, no, I still want to go and do those dirty jobs, or is his father? And it doesn't only apply to men. It doesn't only apply to women. It also applies to men. Do you really think his father is still gonna be riding a taxi? Like he's still gonna be a taxi driver? No, of course he's not gonna be a taxi driver.
These things depend upon the various economic factors that the family is going through. And honestly,
Exactly.
it's so, whatever you're saying is so true as fuck, honestly. Everyone wants that, but see, I told you before, everyone wants that perfect ending. Every father and mother just wants to see their respective child succeed, and they just want to, hand him, in order to put a phrase to that, hand him over the reins. Okay?
Exactly.
Let's just hand him over the reins, let him do whatever he does best, and just take a seat back. Relax.
Exactly,
Just,
bro.
see him succeed. Be proud of him. Feel proud of him. And any working mother, be it working father, they all just want that.
And bro, your mom and dad aren't gonna say this to your face, but they want you to retire them. They want you to fucking retire them. They want you to get them in a position that they don't have to go to work ever again. That is their ultimate
100%.
dream. That is the ultimate dream. Alright. That is what masculinity is all about. Alright. And that is why I say कि a woman who goes to work is kind of masculine in nature. And that is something that I'm like, I know that might be a turn on for a lot of people, but it's not a turn on for me. And it's not because it's not like it's not like she's challenging me for the position of the man of the house or something like that. It's not like that, but it kind of is like that, to be very honest with you. I'm not gonna lie.
See, it kind of depends from person to person, and honestly, I think that everybody out there should just accept that however the way you feel is perfectly fine. However the way Hamza feels is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If it just doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you.
By the way, guys, just go to Spotify and search for Hamza Ahmed. Amazing guy. He's gonna help you out. He makes those self-improvement videos, and he's someone who's helped me improve a lot. He's someone who's gonna help you guys improve a lot as well. Mark my words.
Definitely a good podcast. But if you want 100 times better podcast, just don't go anywhere. Listen to us.
Yeah, we are the best. We are the best. That's not a podcast, by the way.
Exactly. And this podcast is all about these type of topics only. These type of topics which just spice up discussions. Have a lot of debate, discourse. There's a reason we named this provocative parlay, by the way. There's a reason that we named it like so.
And
if we are
two of us just want to be honest with you. We just want to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We just want you to know anything that's going through our mind at any particular point. We don't organize any of these videos. We just call each other up, we just sit in front of each other, and we just create these videos. We just record our conversations, and we just try to talk to you guys as well. But none of this is organized. None of this is planned. We're only here to have a conversation with each other and trying to get our message through to you guys. That's the whole point of it.
This is 100% natural. Okay, this is not scripted at all. This is a normal conversation, a casual conversation, and we felt that this would be relatable to you in such a way that no other podcast can actually be.
Yeah, we just want this.
Right.
We just want this shit to help you out. We just want this shit to help you out.
Yeah, we're just two friends having normal conversations that everybody has. Honestly, everybody has these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
Right. At some point of your life, you have talked about feminism. You have had controversial opinions on feminism. You have duked it out with a friend regarding this topic. So yeah, we would love to know your views, your opinions. What do you think feminism is, or should be, or was?
If you don't agree with us, just start roasting us in the comment section, or just start DMing us. Okay, dude, we don't like this, and we're gonna try and change our opinion, man. Of course, we are learning. We are learning along the step. Like we are learning the entire way. We aren't like the epitome of what humans should be like, or what males or what men should be like. We're not at the epitome of that. We just two guys try to figure out what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, but we both know that it's not simple as that.
Yeah.
The world has made it so.
Nothing's simple nowadays.
So guys,
nothing is simple.
Guys, I think we come to the end of episode 2. I think we had a wonderful talk. Right, Zip?
You guys, thank you for bearing with us, man. Thank you for bearing with us. Hope you had a good time too.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Peace out, man. Thank you.